From the earth, from the sky, from the heart of all infinity, comes the call and the cry of a source of life, forever free. Stand on the ground, open up your wings and fly with me. I am strong, I'm the song, heaven's joy that has to be.
Oh man, I just love this time of the year. I look out and the sky here in the Pacific Northwest is blue. There haven't been any chemtrails for a while. We've got regular, normal clouds for this time of the year. It's mid-70s. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It feels so good out there right now. All the veggies in the garden are coming to fruition, and we're eating pretty much nothing right now. We're eating nothing but stuff out of the garden, and it's so awesome. I think just to the labor of your own, the fruits of your own labor, the labor of your own fruits. That would be good. Oh man, and you're here with Ramon and Tom. See, I said your name first this time, Ramon. Tom of the 100th Monkey Radio, and I think we've got a pretty good show for you tonight. All stuff, you guys, you can, we strongly urge and ask that people support Ramon and I and what we're doing with the radio program, and subscribe to be able to have access to both hours of all the shows that we do. And we're trying to kick it up a notch here ourselves, and start adding a couple of extra shows a month. So hopefully we'll be, hitting an average of 6 shows a month on everybody, which is a benefit for everybody involved. I think as the pace in the world is quickening, I think that the work that Ramon and I are doing through this media is quickening also. At least I feel the desire to do that anyways. What about you, Ramon?
Yeah, the funny thing is, doing this show, like I was talking about in the interview, it really helps you grow. And when you follow what you really want to do, you'll be surprised where it leads you. But I want to mention really quick, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Vimeo, and what was that last? Daily Motions.
Daily Motion. Well, I've only got a couple shows up there so far, but we're working on that.
And also, if you're going to the Pythagoras Conference in October, that's October 10th to the 14th at Horseshoe, Southern Indiana, you can purchase your tickets from us, and they give us a small piece of the pie, which helps support the show, and we really appreciate it. Also, we have the little monkeys still running around, and I'm not talking about Tom. We have the 8 gig USB monkeys. You can pick that up from us, and that has all of starting from November 2010 all the way to the end of the year of 2011, and all the interviews that Tom did. And I guess this year will go by really fast, so
yeah, you can. Yeah. Before we know it, we'll have the full 2 years under our belt. This is episode 102 now, or 103?
103.
Yeah, so we kind of missed the mark on celebrating our 100th show mark, but oh well.
Hold on, give me a second. Yay! There we go, we're done.
Oh boy. That you mentioned something there, Ramon, about the growth that you and I have made through doing this show. And I think one of the biggest benefits that I personally have received through this is all the different perspectives, different views, different subjects that are coming across our desk and that we are looking at closer and closer. And it's given us both a much broader view of where we are and what where humanity is going, uh, where we're headed. I mean, and frankly, I think it's freaking awesome. I mean, watching the growth happen and all those monkeys running around up there.
Oh, that reminds me, make sure you check out, if you go under archive and then you hit Tom and Ramon's video. Tom has a bunch of really good videos, which actually you can ask our guests about, one of the what was it, like a vision type thing with the feminine energy?
Oh yeah, we'll definitely touch on that. You might have some insight on that one. That would be good to probe.
Before you bring our guests in, I just want to read real quick about a little bit about some of the, it's something we're always talking about, but things to be careful when you're dealing with our galactic family, especially those 3D and 4D false light malevolent ones. Sorry.
Ramon.
I'm forgetting English living here. Okay, so things to watch out for. False light tactics with hidden agendas. Dear ones. That's... The other one would be, wait a little longer and we will come to save you. Save me, please. Number 3, you are special, important, and we have a mission for you. Number 4, we have a gift for you, such as youth. Number 5, we are giving you your sovereignty back. Thanks, but I think I already had it. Number 6, any message that invokes worship or looking up to. Oh, Tom, you're the greatest. Number 7, we will come to teach you how to ascend. Number 8, only highly trained operatives can be part of the liberation movement. Number 9, subtle suggestions about fear, such as there's nothing to fear, or tell all that there is no need to fear us. Yeah, that kind of reminds me of I'm a good person. All right, Tom?
So the list that Ramon read off is actually was supplied by our guest, a little tidbit that she added here to an email she sent us, which some really good stuff, and we'll have to dig into both of those PDFs that we got a little bit deeper. So tonight we have Kelly LaSha. Kelly LaSha has a Bachelor of Arts degree in international marketing and cross-cultural training. With over 30 years of experience in reading energy and shamanic healing, your expertise is in midwifing souls through their journey to the fifth dimension. She is the author of The Liquid Mirror and co-author of Surfing the Transformational Waves of 2012. Kelly LaSha, thank you for joining us at the 100th Monkey Radio.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's great to be with family.
Go ahead, Ron.
No, I was going to say, Kelly, you said you have 30 years of experience, but you look about 26, 27 years old in this picture.
Gee, no, I'm 43.
Really? You look great. Must be that 5G thing.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah, I think that's something that we all that I have actually noticed with people that are quote unquote on the path, is that their inner light seems to shine through into their physical expression also.
Yeah, that's true.
They just seem to have a glow about them.
Yeah, you can see it in their eyes, this brightness in their eyes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So Kelly, for those of our listeners who are going, who's Kelly LaSha? You want to give us a little bit of background? What brought you? Where are you from, first off, and what brought you into the field of consciousness?
Well, I was born in Texas, and my mom and I, when I was around 4, she was a single mom, and we were absconded by the Illuminati and taken into an underground facility where they planned on training us thoroughly in their ways. And I don't know if you guys have had any guests on that talk about that, but their ways are very, very dark, and it's pretty intricately designed throughout pretty much every zone of the earth, where the archons have literally created a system through the Illuminati that controls the government, that controls culture, and that literally was designed to cut our source off from our creator, our own personal relationship that we could be having with a loving creator. So the way they train their people is they have them do horrific things to each other, horrible baby sacrifices. They have children kill their own siblings. It's pretty intense. And my stepfather, who became my teacher, is a medium, and he had a remote viewing of where we were and saw that there was a starseed at risk and literally broke into the encampment and got us out.
Mm. Were you there to? Were they trying to bring you into the fold, or?
Yes. Oh, yes. They definitely were intending to train my mom, and I don't know if I was meant to be a sacrifice or to be one of their, trained by them. I don't know. We were there for about a week. I was separated from my mother, and I don't have much memory of what took place there. But my father got us out, and that's when the tables turned. He started training me how to see the dark. And basically, the bottom line of how to do that, and this is what we all get to do now, is to take a look at the agenda that's behind all of these beings that are out there, like the list that you just read off. We have a lot of things out there on the internet of these beings that are saying that they're going to come down in UFOs and spaceships, and trust them, there's nothing to fear. And what is their agenda behind that? And that's what my father trained me how to see, is agenda behind any other person's intention. And so, when you're in a relationship with someone and they are saying, oh, we could do this together, this would be a great project together, but you feel like there's some kind of agenda behind it.
Right.
And there's like some kind of strings attached to it. But it could be really, really subtle, but there's still some kind of agenda behind it. And the way I see it, I think of it, I project holograms to be able to read energy. And you can just feel this agenda behind the being that's trying to get something out of you, but you can't really tell yet if it's a lie. But if you see the energy coming out of their mouth, you can tell that it's fragmented. It's not crystal energy. It's not integral energy. And that's how you can read an agenda that's behind what someone's trying to accomplish. And this is what we get to do right now with all of these beings that are coming here saying that we need to board their spaceships.
Right.
Learn how to ascend with them, and they don't have anything to do with the ascension.
So do you have any idea why you and your mother would have been targeted?
Well, they like to get starseeds, basically. That's their main focus. They look for light workers that are innocent and wanting to be spiritual and trying to find their way back to God, and those are the ones that are innocent and gullible, and they pull them in. And there's all kinds of what I would call street workers that just pull in a starseed and promise her everything or promise him everything, and they bring sexuality into it. That's a big piece of it. They're usually using sexuality against us, and so they, I don't know how deep to get into it, but they very intensely use sex to damage the soul. And then they get you caught into it, addicted to it, and then they build you up and push you down and build you up and push you down until you're crushed inside. And those are just like the minions.
Right.
That sounds no different than, except for the sexuality part, what the military does. Because their idea is to break you down and then rebuild you up in their own image, pretty much.
Yeah.
So you're saying that's the same thing they pretty much do.
Yeah, and they're in the streets, they're in the cities, they're actively seeking out innocent ones to just get them bought in, and they even use spirituality. Talk about the white masks that they use. They'll claim to be teachers, Buddhists, tantra teachers. They're infiltrated throughout the whole culture, and they're just so good at using a white mask, the false light, that people buy into it, and that's how they're tagging souls in 3D right now.
Right. I'm pretty sure I've met a few of those.
Mhm.
Those ones that maybe I went like, oh yeah, he sounded really sweet, but I had to run.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that same pattern of build you up, break you down, build you up, break you down is spread throughout society in almost every area.
Yeah.
Yeah. When as you were getting older and training, can you go more deep into your training? Like, what was it that your dad was working with you?
Okay, well, I had two teachers. My dad was a teacher, but then he was also a medium of a being called Mota. A medium is different from a channeler. He would actually leave his body completely, and this being would come in and teach me, and this being was made of three beings. And what I learned from Mota was mostly energetic, and it was Q&A. He would tell me about the lies of religion, the backstory of why they've created these lies within the religion, within the religions, to break us off from our direct connection to our Creator. So that was the verbal lessons that I got from him. And then he would also do downloads, energetic downloads, because I was young. My training started when I was 5. And even as a teenager, I was too young to really take it all in. It was a lot. And so later in life, when I went on my shamanic path, then I believe that training watered the seeds that Mota implanted within me. And then that's when I had spherical understandings that came through his liquid mirror in terms of how to heal souls.
Right.
And help them get back to their source by self-sourcing and self-sourcing to their Creator through reverence.
I'm curious about the when you were learning about religion, the religions of the world, if anything was said about whether the being known on this planet as Jesus was an actual incarnated being, teacher on the planet, or if he was like so many people say, just a created person to support the Roman religion.
It is my sense that Jesus actually did exist. And a lot of what Mota taught me is that a lot of these religions had strong foundations from true prophets, from true beings of integrity and connection to the source. But all these beings that wanted to keep that away from us and put lies inside of the religion, all these little things that they would say, like we're born sinners.
Right.
And so now God is vengeful all of a sudden. We're born sinners. We're not whole already, just as we are. And we're damned to hell forever. And where is he anyway? It's like he just took off somewhere and abandoned us and betrayed us. We have no access to it because he's way out there, way up in the sky. And this is what the indigenous ones knew. And that's why they tried to massacre all of them. But that was their way of living. It wasn't a religion. It wasn't a spiritual practice. It was a deep, emotional, reverent connection with their Creator and with the earth and with the sun. They knew this way. And this is what I think the role of all star seeds are right now. And all of us that want to have sovereignty is to claim that relationship back with a very loving Creator and to drop into our hearts and open up and feel that love that it has for us. This is what they've been wanting to keep away from us all this time.
Do you see the Creator as an individuated consciousness, individual sentient being?
I wouldn't call it a sentient being. The way I feel it, it is that which created all of existence. So
More
it's not a local creator of this universe. It is literally the creator of all of existence.
like the fabric of life sort of thing, or
Yes, the fabric of life, us, everything that we see.
yeah.
The anatomy of the soul. What designed the anatomy of the soul? Something did.
The it gets really, really complicated for this monkey mind that we possess to really wrap our heads around, trying to understand how this works, and you know, how did me walking down this street instead of that street create this in my life when this is 20 blocks away? You know, that was a really bad explanation question I'm asking, but the route that things work in seemed very circuitous. Excuse me, jeez, circuitous to get to a you know, a certain point. But in reflection, you see that if you wouldn't have done this one act, you never would have gotten to this one place. And I know that myself, through you know, through that reflection and seeing the path that it took to get to a certain place that I knew had a divine signature to it. It boggles the mind trying to understand the intricacies and the way the gears all mesh together to you know, get this result out of this action. It just, like, how?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, I believe that that's tapping into our destiny, which is our highest soul's yearning for its broadest expression here while we're here. And the way we access that is we heal our fears and we surrender to that loving force within us. And then everything, the fractals, the fabric of existence take care of everything. And then we become the informants of the mirror that's creating our experience here.
Mm.
Hmm. Here's a question that I also asked George, because the way I hear sometimes people talk about 5D, and you know that we're moving into 5D, and I always wonder, like, are we creating sometimes like another religious type thing? Like, for example, my grandmother used to always tell me, "Oh, we're gonna move into heaven, you know, soon." And it was
Mm-hmm.
always soon we're gonna move into this heaven. So it kind of felt like the carrot in front of us dangling.
Yes.
Um, what For myself, I was so I was like, is this just another thing? And I just said to myself, I need some kind of proof, because I'm not gonna move into this belief system of 5D. It has to be a knowing. It can't just be, okay, I believe in 5D and I'm gonna move into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had this very vivid, I don't know if it was a dream, it felt like a dream, where I'm looking at everything in 5D, and I was just astounded at the details of everything and the awareness I had. Just the way a drop of water looked on a plant was the most amazing thing I ever seen. And from your own experience, what what can you tell us about 5D, and how is it that it's just not another heaven, quote unquote?
Yeah, that's so beautiful what you just said, and such a great question. Because if we think of it, if we think of the ascension and 5D as something that's outside of us in a future event, then we're not experiencing that now and pulling inside of ourselves now. And when I have experiences of what you might call 5D, I just experience being a spherical being with these toroidal fields within my soul that are continuously emerging with all this freedom to emerge and create anything that I want. And why can't that be what we can experience here now? And have you noticed that there is a shorter time lag between our intentions being manifested? There's a shorter time lag these days, and so I feel like we're reverberating back and forth between 3D and 5D right now. We're already having access to 5D because we're in the midst of an event. It's not like one day or one occurrence. It is really something that we're experiencing right now. And for a while, when I was having journeys to what I called home, which is that kind of exuberant, free state of real, true sovereignty, freedom to express anything that I want to express and create, with everyone in my field supporting me in that and celebrating all of my expression, which is not what we have here at all, right? We have competition and so forth and density.
Yeah.
But to drop into that, and so when I was having these journeys home, and like I've shared before, the emotion was so overwhelming of the kind of freedom and love that exists, and how much we love one another is the most it's indescribable, and I don't know why, because it seems like this should be innate in us that we'd remember this, right? But that's what they did. They blocked it from our memory, so we would forget about how much we care about one another. So that's my favorite aspect of that experience of being in that reality. And nowadays, and I used to get really homesick when I'd have to come back from that. And nowadays I don't get homesick. I don't have that longing anymore because I'm honing that here. I'm actually living that here in this 3D reality.
Right.
We don't have to wait for it. We don't have to wait for that freedom. We claim that freedom now and create from our passion and using our imaginations, and think we have to think outside possible to even access this, because we've been taught even the laws of physics. We've been taught what's possible in this culture, what's possible on this earth. And what I'm talking about is way broader than that.
So it sounds like it's not that we're going anywhere, or even including the planet. It sounds, from your description, it sounds more like we're bringing it, for lack of a better word, bringing it down to us. Is that correct, or is
yes,
that?
I think of it that way, and I do believe that there is going to be a huge shift, that the Earth will be turning into a fifth dimensional being, that this Earth won't look the same. It's going to be more luminous, and this is what the Inca say. I don't hear many people talking about the Inca in this circuit, but they were my teachers in Peru, and part of their prophecy is that the Earth will be turning into a star, and those that choose to transcend with her after our ascension, we return back here and we can become the new dreamers, the dreamers of the new Earth. So I do believe that there's going to be, I don't want to call it abrupt, and it's going to be a different time for everyone. I think there's going to be different phases in terms of when and how we experience the more abrupt shift. And I'd like to get into how I see that happening for me, the map that I've created for myself for that.
Oh, absolutely. That was actually the question that was bubbling in my mind about, well, one aspect of this coming shift that is happening now. At least I am experiencing it. Do you see the planet sort of splitting, or humanity on the planet splitting into two or more different dimensions or realms?
I do. I've always seen it as a cell mitosis. Are you familiar with cell mitosis?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a biology term, and it's when a cell divides, and what happens right before it divides are the chromosomes polarize on either side of the molecule, or the cell. And then it splits, and then you have two different realities. And I do believe it's possible that there will be a 3D Earth, but she will be completely different. I don't think that there's really going to be many humans on that Earth. And then the fifth dimensional Earth will be completely refreshed, a nude, a luminous place where we will all get to choose to come and participate in that or not. And not everybody will. Everybody's going to get to choose where they go from here. A lot of the star families, a lot of the indigenous ones are finally they're going to go home and rest, because they've been keeping track of this for us all these years for this very specific time. And thank you again, our great ancestors, for keeping the wisdom going forward, even though everyone tried to annihilate them to keep it from us. But our ancestors have done such great work so that we could even be aware of what's happening right now and participate in it.
Yeah, Ramona and I were just talking about a couple of days ago about how how all throughout history the light, the flame, the torch has always been burning and always passed along in so many different cultures, and a lot of times it's had to go underground to keep a light, but it has always been there in some form or fashion, and we have to definitely have some gratitude for our ancestors for the perseverance that they've shown, and the love that they've shown their descendants, us, and or themselves. You know, it's actually kind of a self-love, because I see us as them. You know, this is
Oh, yeah.
you know, we kept the torch burning for ourselves for the time that we knew that was coming.
I agree. I agree. We've been doing our work. There's something innate in our souls that knew what this was about. We created a foundation so we would have traction in this awakening.
So do you think what we're going through with this shift now is a unique event, or do you think this is just another epoch or another climax of the cycle?
Both. Both. It is a very unique event because nothing ever happens the same exact way.
Right.
So it's a whole nother experience of an ascension. I do believe that other ascensions have happened, of course, and this is a very unique one, like they all are.
Right. So, you know, I know that in the work that you do with people that you actually see, you have a gift for being able to see energy. Would you kind of explain the process that you go through and the sensations that you have while you're viewing energy? I'm always curious about how other people perceive it.
Mm-hmm. What I've done, my work has changed over the years because I learned that if I'm going to read energy for others, then they don't hold themselves capable of seeing their own wounds, and they don't even want to have the self-honesty. If they're looking outside of themselves for somebody to show them their wounds, then that's the piece to look at. Self-honesty is such a big piece here. And to empower people to be able to see it themselves is the most important part of it, because after, you know, in my previous sessions earlier in my career in this, and I was reading energy for people and then kind of adjusting their energy, and then they would walk away feeling like, oh, well, thank you, teacher. And that's not how it is. We're family and we're working together. So my work has shifted into empowering people to see it for themselves, because it's a path. It's not just to go get a healing once in a while. It's about owning your own capacity to heal yourself and taking it on as a continuous path, a daily ritual, so to speak.
Mm.
So I don't read energy for people anymore. I let them read their own energy, and I do take them into soul retrieval, which helps them see it for themselves. And then I invite them to connect with their creator and with their guides so they can get direct connect and feel the support, the amount of beings that are here supporting us in all of this. It's overwhelming, really, when you get to feel the numbers of loving beings that are here right now, here with us. And those are the orbs that we're seeing in all these photographs. Those are 5D beings. They don't need UFOs to get here. So when people can drop in and take charge of their own capacity to grow and have the courage to face their fears and just let them go, and then connect with their loving guides, just the fear just dissolves, and then they become empowered to continue to do it on their own.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, that it seems with the how can you tell the difference between like, especially when you're talking about the orbs, how can you tell the difference between a 5D being? Because for us, at least from my experience, just looking at them is kind of hard to tell, because someone does a little magic show, they can always say, "Oh, I'm a 5D being." So, what are some of the things that you look for to know?
Well, first of all, in my ceremonies, I ask them to show themselves to me, the fifth dimensional ones, so I can know the difference. And I think they've shown themselves 5 times, and they're or 4 times. And they're bright orbs that come very close in, and they have a very specific motion that just makes you recognize that it's not a star or a satellite or a UFO, because they're very large and they're very close in. And then there's also the little ones that show up, you know, in your yard in these photographs. My mom even saw one the other day with the naked eye. And those are the ones that you can trust. And if you can, like I described, like when you're working with a person and you can feel some kind of agenda behind it, you go with your intuition, and then you use your eyesight, your senses, to go deeper and pierce into their soul and get what's real about that person. So it's the same thing with these beings that are claiming to be 5D beings that are going to come here and save us. Well, what would be their intention to come here in UFOs to help us? What's the agenda behind that? I would like for somebody to answer that question. If we could just know what their agenda is, then okay, fine, if we can even trust that. But to tap into your senses, and your senses will tell you. It's like your intuition knows whether it's a positive being or a negative being. And there probably will be some positive, I don't know for sure, but maybe some benevolent 4D beings that are going to come here in UFOs. That's possible, but I would still like to know what their agenda is. What's the purpose? Because the ascension is an organic process. It's between us, our creator, and the earth and the sun. I don't understand why we would need other beings involved.
Have you ever experienced the sort of like the orb sparks, the ones that just flicker in and out?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, same nature, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I felt too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, what about excuse me? This is something that I personally have always had work for me, and I don't know if it's my intention that drives it or what, but I have found myself in situations in my excursions into the other dimensions where I have asked a direct question, and I felt like there was absolutely no way. And this is, I feel that this one instance I'm thinking of was 4th dimensional, and I felt that there was absolutely no way that they could lie to me, and they actually admitted to having an ulterior motive when asked that direct question.
Yes.
Is that one of the properties of the 4th dimension, that they cannot lie to a direct question?
Yes. Yes, that is such a good point.
That's a really important information for people out there, that if you find yourself in one of these realms, that if you ever have a question on, you know, the motives of the beings that you're interacting with, don't be afraid to speak up and ask.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My mom had a journey once where she felt like she was being lifted off in some other dimension, and they were enticing her to go with them. And she said, "But where's the white light?" And that shot her right back into her body. And and you know, that's the thing, is they can't mimic the purest white light that there is. They can't mimic God.
So we are sovereign beings, and that's what it boils down to, right?
Yes, absolutely. But through awareness, that's the piece. We claim our sovereignty through our awareness by being willing to see and ask these questions and discern.
I always feel like, with even on the 3D level, with all the agendas going on with the Illuminati and the powers that were, or the powers that have been, I feel like they have to tell you the truth, but they don't need to tell you directly. They could mix it up in, you know, with other things so you won't know the truth. But I just feel like is that the same with them? Do they have to tell you the truth as well?
I believe so. I mean, they're really good at faking truth, but if we want to, it's specifically designed for the innocent, gullible ones that don't want to know any more than that. And they're the ones that buy into it. And this is why I love doing this work, is just giving everybody another option, so that everybody knows how to discern for themselves and ask the right questions, so they don't get locked into that labyrinth. because really, what can you imagine what that might be like to get sucked in to 4D for another, what, eternity? For how long? Eons before you want to stay a student of that? Because within 4D, there's always going to be a hierarchy. There's always going to be an overlord. And even the overlords are tired over there. So why wouldn't we want to hold awareness and orchestrate and create and manifest how we want to experience this growth, this ascension?
Exactly. Here's another question that I've asked quite a few different guests. Looking out at the world and the way things are set up here in this physical dimension, and the hierarchical structure that's out there, with all the greed, corruption, crime, the holier than thou, I'm better than mentalities that are out there, all the full spectrum of experience that we see out here in this world. I look at what's going on out there on those who are obviously not on too much of a conscious level, and then I consider the as above, so below, and I think about those structures in the other dimensions, and how is that reflected or reflective of what's happening here, say from the fifth dimension, what's happening here, looking at that reflection, how does that look in the fifth dimension?
It looks like a game board. And the souls that chose to incarnate here in this time were really wanting to test themselves against their own strength and capacity. So it's a testament really to those of us that are here awake in this. What is it about our souls that wanted to come here and experience this and go into a very, very, very dense place in its darkest hour of its darkest cycle and wake up inside of it? Can you imagine what our souls are getting out of that?
What was I thinking?
I've had dreams of something like that, and those dreams are so hard to even put into words, but it's basically like I'm looking down at some kind of almost like a chessboard, but a chessboard with walls. Walls and limitation, basically, and
yes.
And just traveling through these brick walls is kind of. But I'm looking at myself going through these, and I'm, kind of enjoying watching this. So I always wonder if that's like a higher aspect of myself, and that is the best way my 3D mind can understand it.
Yes, it's a good description of it, and I've had those experiences as well. And I have had experiences of being pretty deep inside the darker dimensions of 4D, because there's light dimensions of 4D as well, and we have access to 4D now. Every time that we pray, we're informing 4D how to manifest our intentions. 4D gives us that access, and yet right now 4D is overpopulated with very malevolent beings. So when I got to journey over there where they're working and where they've been doing this soul tagging project for so long, now they have tons of souls that are locked up in these really tight lockers, and it's a very painful place to be. It's really what hell is. And the thing is that they think that they're going to bring all these UFOs down and entice as many people as possible to board, make all these promises to them, take off before the ascension, and find some pocket in the universe where they can continue to get away with that until they find another place to go and find other souls to feed off of. And I don't really see how they would get away with that, because I can't imagine a pocket in the universe that's not going to be affected by this event. But it's kind of like they're scrambling, because they cut their connection off with Creator a long time ago, and they just forgot that it's a loving being that will embrace them as well. And they're tired. Nobody wants to live under an overlord, and they all do. So I feel like ultimately, if we all go through the in-breath of God throughout this whole process, everybody will be set free and have a choice to go where they go from there.
Is it, that dimension, is it like, it kind of sounds like a corporation. So for example, you hate your job, you're tired of working there, but you want to move up the ladder, and
Yes,
you hate the way they treat you, but then when you move up, you treat them the same way that you were treated.
exactly.
Okay.
Yes,
So as above, so below.
yes.
There you go.
Because you're saying that, and I'm just thinking of a corporation. I'm like, huh, okay.
Yep, and that's exactly how corporations were modeled into that whole hierarchy. It's infiltrated in everywhere. Everywhere we look, basically, it's the hierarchy.
So yeah, so people talking about the archon and the fourth dimensional beings feeding off of our energy. Now, to try to understand what this feeding process is a little bit deeper and a little bit better, I'd like to know how you see this process work. Now, what do they do? Does it is just something that they need to sustain their being, or what happens if they don't feed?
Well, the thing is that because they're not connected to creator, to source, they have this insatiable need, and it will always be insatiable. It's like a black hole inside of their being. And so they're outsourcing everywhere they can, always in a panic, never get enough, never get enough, never get enough, and looking everywhere that they can to feed off of something. And for them, it's a human's emotional suffering.
That sounds like a crack addiction.
Yes.
That's the same description as crack addiction.
Yes.
I've had experiences where, like, especially in dream state. So, for example, this is very, very beautiful woman, and she's trying to entice me, and I'm just kind of like ignoring her. And then when I notice again, she's not as beautiful anymore. Like the sags under her eyes get really thick, and her skin doesn't look as good. So, from my description, I'm wondering, is it that they can hold this beauty for so long and then they have to let it go because it's taking up so much energy?
Yes, you're right on. And they use beauty to entice us, especially men. That's how the dark women that are in 3D entice men. They get a lot of them that way.
Right.
Speaking of Tom, I think you should tell Kelly your insight.
Oh, okay. Well, I was out of body and had a experience where I was in a space, and around me where there were three females that I could sense or see in a sense, but back behind them I sensed that there were more looking on, and I was standing in the center of the three of these women, and they were clawing at my energy field. It was like they couldn't get to my physical body through the energy bubble that I have around me. Mm-hmm. And every time they clawed, I felt a malevolent intent. And I said, to the best and highest good be gone. And it was like, it looked like Stuntman out of the movies, the one that had the cables on it for an explosion, yanked it back. And all three of them were yanked out. And I had a distinct sense that they were, that energy that they were using on me to claw at me was no longer a tool that was in their bag. Mm-hmm. And they weren't very happy about that whole process. Mm-hmm. But mm-hmm. what I took out of that experience was that the energy that I sensed there was, I said they were female. I sensed the divine feminine energy being used, of the malevolent sort. Mm-hmm. And I felt that it was really important to share this story with people because, the divine feminine's a big thing right now in the world. Everybody's, if it's divine feminine, there's so many people that are just attaching to it, going, oh, this is good, this is good. but and being kind of blind to the darker aspects of the divine feminine also. So I don't know. Comments?
Yeah. And this is my next wave of articles that I'll be sending out is repairing the divine feminine by claiming our pure, our sensuality, basically, because that's one thing that they shamed out of us. And the divine feminine is pure there. I don't really believe that there is a dark divine feminine. I mean, so we have Kali, we have the earth when she's trying to readjust herself from her fleas, so to speak, but that's still not an evil or malevolent type of energy. So when these beings are appearing as feminine beings that are attractive, there's nothing feminine or divine within whatsoever. It's just the mask that they use to entice us. But it's pure divine feminine is a very sacred, precious, integral frequency, and as well as the divine masculine, and we all have both of it inside of us when we align with soul, when we align with spirit, when we align with creator, when we align through reverence of our existence, then we are the divine masculine and feminine. And that's a very pure frequency, very, very, very opposite of these other beings that you're talking about.
No, I definitely I understand the pure essence of both the divine and the feminine and the masculine energies. But I think the point I was trying to make was that, you know, if it's got, especially, you know, people surfing out on the internet, that if it's got divine feminine attached to it in any form or fashion, that people are, you know, attracted to it like, you know, moths to a flame.
Yes, that's a really good point.
And their discernment filter, you know, kind of goes out the window at times.
Yes, that's a really good point.
Yeah, I think discernment. Oh my God, discernment is such a huge thing right now. So much stuff out there.
Yeah.
And you know, especially and it's. Have you noticed that those? Well, I'm sure you have. Those that have the spark, that have asked the questions. At times, they seem to appear to have a big target painted on their back.
Can you say that again?
Those who have the spark within them, you know, that have asked the questions and started doing the work. At times, it seems like they get a target painted on their back for those malevolent beings out there to, you know, this one's starting to get away.
Yeah, I do sense that, and I've sensed them around me the more I do this work, and they can't touch us. Light cannot be harmed, light cannot be touched, light cannot be altered. So when we hone that integrity inside of ourselves, which is what integral crystalline light is, it's integrity. And so when we're anchored in our hearts and vibrating at that frequency that is backed by God, if we have a direct connection with a loving creator, those beings can't touch us. And that's true sovereignty.
And, you know, one aspect of probably the most difficult aspect of integrity that I had to learn for myself was being honest with myself.
Yes.
I mean,
we can't do it without that.
Absolutely not.
So here's I don't know if we have time for this question, or should I save it?
Go ahead. We can run over a little bit if we need to.
What are angels? Because they've been in our life since, you know, the dawn of history, at least on this planet. What are they, and who are they, and what's their agenda?
I don't think I can answer that question. I do believe in the archangels, but they do reside in 4D. So perhaps they're beings that chose to experience that to be supporters here to us. I don't work with the angels. I stay connected with Source and with my 5D guides. I just trust them implicitly.
So you feel that most angels are 4D, or some of them? Or?
Well, from the way I understand it, in the way that people use the archangels, they reside in 4D, but they're benevolent beings in 4D.
Right.
And at the same time, like George Kavassalis says, that there's malevolent beings that are posing as these archangels, and so I don't feel like I could trust that.
I've always had. Well, I'll save this. This part. How are we on time, Dr. Tom?
That's 5 minutes.
Okay, I'll save the question for the second half. So tell us where you can, where we can find you, emails, websites, book.
Okay. Yes, my website is liquidmirror.org, just like it's spelled. Liquidmirror.org, and my email address is kellylasha@gmail.com.
Okay.
And you do what are the sessions that you do? Do you do workshops and that sort of thing? Have you got anything coming up?
No, I don't do workshops, but I do sessions. And the sessions entail soul retrieval and connecting you to your source, to your guides.
So you've got the one book out, the Liquid Mirror book, and have you got another one in the works?
Well, there's the Liquid Mirror book, and there's also a Liquid Mirror workbook, which works as a workshop. It's a very, very intense workshop, but it's a solo journey. And then there's also Surfing the Transformational Waves of 2012, which are supportive tools to support you in your journey home. And that's an ebook, very affordable, very simple. It was a labor of love from my precious family, Starseeds. And the next project is I'm going to be working on the Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine with my husband to reveal the lost sacred art of love.
Nice. Okay, well, let's see. The bumper music you will be listening to is by Nature's Airplane. Is that correct, Ramon?
Yes, sir.
Nature's Airplane. I'm not sure exactly which cut we're playing, but I'll probably try to mention that in the second segment. So, well, I want to thank everybody for joining us for the first segment here, and I hope you join us in hour 2. And if you are not a member, I urge you to click that subscribe button and help support the work that Ramona and I are doing with this. And we love you guys.
Also, if you guys are listening to us on YouTube or any of the other, you can come to our website, which is www.the100thmonkeyradio.com.
And the 100th is spelled out too, by the way. So.
Oh yeah.
Condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance.
The love you deny is the pain you carry.
And we'll see you in the second hour.
From the earth, from the sky, from the heart of all infinity, comes the call and the cry of a source of life, forever free. Stand on the ground, open up your wings and fly with me. I am strong, I'm the song, heaven's joy, that has to be a broken heart, a broken wing, a broken promise cannot be. For I have come to hold your hand and lift you high to fly with me. I'm the one, I'm you, I'm the children of Mother's heart. I am love, I am the truth, all are one and part of me. Keep your faith and hold my heart. Spread a dream from land to sea. That's the dawn, one to all. Now and through eternity. The one who lives forever lives in me. The heart that hears the music must be free. The child who lives to love is flying free. Sing your song, share your love, live your soul's sweet destiny. The past is gone, the war is won, and peace is what we want to be. Sing your song, share your love, live your soul sweet, sweet destiny. The past is gone, the war is done, and peace has come inside of me. And peace has come inside of me. And peace has come, and we are free. 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 Peace has come, and we are free